What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris.
My name is James.
And we are the Brothers Talk About. Today, we're going to be giving you our delayed reaction response breakdown for the first three episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, a highly anticipated Disney Plus television series from the Star Wars universe. We finally get to see Boba Fett, played by Tamara Morrison, star in his own show, a spin-off from The Mandalorian Season 2. And we have a lot to discuss and share with you today.
For sure.
Some good, bad, and ugly, and a lot of bad and ugly. Just because we're going to say from the beginning, this show is a bit of a disappointment. And you might be shocked by that. You might agree. You might agree. There's a lot of mixed fan reactions out there from what I've seen, from people talking about it online to even friends of ours. Some people are like, you know what? No, they're doing a great job. It's really good. It's actually, I love the direction. But for me, as a hardcore Boba Fett fan, I have a lot of issues with it. But we're gonna take from the beginning, go break it down part by part. We actually had to take a moment to put notes down on our phone because there's so much little things that we wanted to mention. There's some things we're probably gonna miss. So we're going to touch upon little things here and there. Each of us are going to share stuff.
I was going to say, we got our notes, so prepare for us to go back and forth about topics. We're going to try to keep it short, concise, but also we want to just give you guys our thoughts.
Our honest opinions.
So we're going to keep it bold. We're going to keep it 100% with you guys. So just prepare. Let's strap in, and let's get started with Book of Boba Fett, Episode 1.
Episode 1. Okay. So for a Boba Fett show, I feel like this beginning was some of the most, this whole episode, but this beginning was some of the most rushed through scenes I've ever seen in a Star Wars film. Like, why did you have to go so fast with him getting out of the Sarlacc pit? I thought it was a cool opening. I liked the idea of showing him inside. I was like, wow, this is cool. But he left that thing so quick. And it was almost like word for word of the Patton Oswalt, what was that show he was on?
It was Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec scene where he's breaking down, the guy is breaking down
his thought of how it would happen.
What should happen for a Star Wars movie with Boba Fett's return. So it's kind of funny that they had that.
And pan down from the twin suns of Tatooine, we are now close on the mouth of the Sarlacc pit. After a beat, the gloved Mandalorian armor gauntlet of Boba Fett grabs onto the sand outside the Sarlacc pit, and the feared bounty hunter pulls himself from the maw of the sand beast.
Okay, this is exactly...
And we realize that he survived his fall during the battle at Jabba's palace ship.
But he punches through the Sarlacc pit, and he lights it on fire, and he gets out of that thing in like a little over a minute, in less than a minute. It was just so pathetic. Yeah. I could have seen a whole episode or a half an episode, him struggling, maybe not a half an episode, but a good chunk of time, him being in the Sarlacc pit, like showing him what he's doing, how he's trying to survive. Like, I guess he got out of there fairly quickly, which is cool, but I just wish there was more scenes with that. Like, I wanted to see the creature actually react to it getting burnt. Like, there were so much things that I wanted to experience from that scene that I always imagined from lore and expanded stuff that I just felt like it got brushed past way too quickly.
Yeah, so my point of view on this scene, I believe what he said. I believe it was rushed, but I wouldn't necessarily say a half an episode, but I get what you're saying about it.
Yeah, a good chunk
honestly, I just wish that it was a more epic moment. That's a flaw.
Impactful.
That was a flaw that I have noticed a lot through this, and I'll talk about it more. So many moments just seem so downgraded.
Yeah.
They don't seem as epic as they really could be. The character of Boba Fett is one of the most beloved characters that's had so little screen time. I believe in the original trilogy, he had less than, less than 10 minutes? Not even?
Probably, yeah.
So he has less than 10 minutes, but he's been so beloved. And we've been looking for this big moment of how the heck did he survive the Sarlacc pit. It's one of the biggest questions in Star Wars.
Yeah.
With one of the biggest characters.
And they graze upon it.
And it went by in about 30
seconds. To the
seconds.
grocery store, in and out. It was so fast.
I just think that they could have done it more cool. Utilize some of Boba Fett's abilities,
his armor,
his jetpack,
his thing,
more of
his
flamethrowers,
other things that's going on inside of it.
I like the idea of the thing, but let's move past that because there's so much to talk about. So
yeah.
that overall, that one part, underwhelming.
Yeah, the whole episode honestly was all underwhelming, and I want to go through some of my notes that I had to say, but I do have to say the first scene that I did enjoy, I liked how the Jawas came when he was out of breath and he basically passed out from, I get it, the body acids and everything, his armor getting messed up. You could see his suit was all ruined from being inside of the Sarlacc pit. He's just passed out on the sand. I like the scene with the Jawas and they're like, "Dooyah!" and they hit him in the face. That was funny. But I'm like, bro, you're Boba Fett. You couldn't have did something real quick to make the Jawas flee. Like, I don't know. Even when he's like half awake, I feel like Boba Fett should be an ultimate badass. But
Alright, let's get to the
it's just not
notes.
what we're seeing. Okay. So right here I have the rushed opening, not how I would have wanted it. It just felt like the whole first episode felt to me as if it was like a Kickstarter budget fan film. I've seen like YouTube Darth Maul fan films and other things that have been online and leaks that are almost of the same quality of the show. Yeah, there's actors in it, and yeah, there's some decent CGI, but the whole pacing of it just felt like we could have did a better job as casual fans directing the first episode for the freaking Book of Boba Fett. Being my favorite character, I just was let down. The music, with being the same guy who did The Mandalorian, I felt like it was just very repetitive, and I didn't really like it, and it just goes on throughout the first 3 episodes, and it works at some points, but it's just so draggy with the dialogue and the music. Nothing makes me excited for the show. It doesn't make me say, wow. I'm getting ahead of myself, but the Tusken Raiders, when he finally gets brought to them, when they come and find him and they take him away, the Tusken Raiders look like a bunch of group of cosplayers, like they're trying to be like their own creative Tusken Raider sand person. Like, it just doesn't look like a Star Wars world that I'm used to. I mean, I get the fact that they're trying to change it up, and there's different tribes, I guess, of Tusken Raiders, so I don't really mind them switching up the design, but the little kid one, it looked like he just was wearing a Walmart mask with some robes and a little stick. Like, it just didn't fit right. It felt so off-putting. Do you have anything to say about that part?
Yeah, so like we said, everything about this first part, it just feels very like whatever. It feels like a fan film that they were able to somehow get Tamara Morrison to play Boba Fett in their fan film. It's like, whoa, we got Tamara Morrison in our fan film.
It's gonna
How
happen.
cool. Okay, so it's like, everything just felt like they were just walking. A lot of walking.
Oh my god, the walking and the music.
And the music, I didn't mind the music overall. As every episode's continued, I personally enjoyed the music. I like the kind of triumphant feel to it. I like it. So yeah, from when Boba Fett gets introduced with this tribe, they kind of are leading him around. He's caught slave. And this is the moment where I looked at it and was like, okay, this just feels like a cheap fan film. It's set at night. It's like this very basic looking backdrop, like just a clear dune scene in the background. It's nighttime, and it's like this most like super weakly choreographed little fight with Boba Fett with the stick against this Tusken Raider. Felt very boring. Just was like, okay, whatever. That's nothing special. And again, just further leading me on to figure why this episode was not impressive to me. I didn't like it. That was just one thing I was just like, dang, it just feels cheap. And I cannot believe with the quality and the budget that Disney is able to offer to these TV series, how cheap that one scene felt to me.
It doesn't feel like Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni's a part of it, even though I saw Jon Favreau as the writer, and even Robert Rodriguez.
I don't know. It just feels cheap.
Directing
especially compared to the Boba Fett's introduction.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
So badass. This feels like a preschool toddler TV series in comparison.
Yep.
But we can further move along if you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay, so Boba Fett wakes up. Around that part, he wakes up. We figure out that these are some flashbacks he's having in this bacta tank.
Yep.
He starts being more of his daimyo. I think that's how they say it, daimyo of this Mos Espa. So he's talking to these people. We get introduced to different people, giving him their tribute, and we get introduced to this guy. Oh goodness!
This guy could have slapped him so bad.
He plays a perfect character that you love to hate. You just love to hate this guy. And man, what I like. My apologies. I want to get this guy.
Apologies.
I want to get this guy and just give him.
I want to grab him by his little long tentacle ear of his Twilight, swing him around and throw him out off a cliff. Like literally, feed him to the Rain Corps.
Yeah.
This guy just made me aggravated. He irked me, and a bunch of other people that were there. The robot guy, Jabba's droid, literally just aggravates me. The random Gamorrean guards are kind of cool that they submit and want to be his bodyguards.
I feel like almost their costumes. Cool. Quick side tangent: their costumes almost look like cheaper compared to the original trilogy.
It really does, yeah.
They just don't. They don't look as nice to me. They don't look as like real creatures. They just feel cheap.
Yep.
Whatever. But they look like green painted dudes with masks on. Now it gets to the point of this episode that I basically hate the most, and it really made me despise this one part of the episode. So Boba Fett's walking around Mos Espa. He meets this woman who owns this like little thing.
Crappy cantina. So stupid.
So he walks out, and now all of a sudden these super powerful parkour space ninjas jump Boba Fett. And wow, this scene it's just bad. So sluggish. It's like the way Boba Fett's fighting with these like really
use your jetpack, bro. You literally have a jetpack. You have all guys around you.
Use your flamethrower.
Flamethrower them, rip them up.
Don't even fly up. Just burn their knees.
Yeah,
they have
he has knee darts. He has darts on his knees, and he doesn't use them. Fennec Shan, he only explodes someone as he's like, I want them alive. And she's like, all right, got you, boss. And he's going around shooting people.
Fennec's
only at the very last end. These cybernetic they're not cybernetic.
They're just ninjas, space
These
ninjas.
stupid space ninjas.
Sand ninjas.
Parkour people from American Ninja Warrior come up and whoop his butt, and it just doesn't feel anything like how
they send my boy to
viscerally
tank.
attacked these people in the first episode that he's introduced in Mando. Totally, his fighting style is different, and you can this was before what we're seeing now. So you can't say him healing is affecting him because he was fighting better back in Mando. So the healing factor that he's always healing,
Boba Fett,
it's building up to his character. It doesn't matter. He should be able to fight better.
So after Boba Fett gets sent to his healing pod, his back tank, my boy got beat up so bad he goes back to a back tank. What the hell happened to my man? So anyway, we go back to a flashback with these Tusken Raiders, Boba Fett getting beat up, and he's hunting for this magical milk. Again,
it's water. The water.
No, it's the milk. He says it later on. It's this milk. It's just milk pods that are in the middle of the ocean. Not the ocean, the sand. Exactly. There's no water anywhere. How are they getting this liquid from the random things in the sand? That didn't make sense.
That was such a boring scene, dude. Like, I was literally sitting there
Boba
with
Fett
my
his
whole
first
family.
episode digging through sand.
I watched this episode we watched it with our friends because we were like, oh, we were over at our friend's house. We're like, we're gonna watch this. My dad's like, oh, save it for me. I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm watching it now. I watched it a second time, and I'm literally like, I don't even really want to because it was just that bad. It was boring. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it because we're all hardcore fans.
So
of
then,
our favorite character.
Boom. All of a sudden, Machamp, the Pokemon, comes out, and he starts just wailing on these guys, and Boba Fett, the grandpa that they're making him, jumps aboard the thing and just chokes him out.
Yeah, that was just like Princess Leia with Jabba. It wasn't even that amazing.
Come on.
It felt like Rodriguez. Padme with the battle cat. It just didn't feel epic at all. He just was like on top of them, and he's like, yes, I'm Boba Fett. And the kid was like,
he leads him back, he takes credit. The lead Tusken dude realizes, wow, you did good, buddy. You can join the tribe.
Yeah. It was
the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. This felt like
dumb.
the pamphlet to the Book of Boba Fett. This felt like the audible trial of the Book of Boba Fett. What is this? What is this?
The free trial.
It's horrible.
The digging for the drinks really just bored me to death. Like, I couldn't stand it. I'm like, you're Boba Fett. You couldn't get yourself out of the situation. It just bothered me.
Walk away.
I'm gonna read the rest of my notes to rip this thing to shreds real quick. Not utilizing his armor, check. Being too passive, check. Digging for water, so dumb. I felt sleepy, check. The dumb My Apologies guy, the crappy cantina, the dumb ninja parkour guys, the weird CGI monster that I didn't really care for. He kills it in a kind of lame way by choking it. Feels like an old grandpa rather than the badass Mando we know. He needs a back to tank every 5 seconds. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just honest with it. Like, I wanted it to be better. My mom was like looking at it, and she's like, she's a Star Wars fan, but not that much. She's so like not as much as we are. She was like, that was it. My dad was like, wow. So everybody was just like,
the way I looked at it was Mandalorian was able to bring a fan base of people that aren't even Star Wars fans and bring them interested in Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I don't see how anyone that isn't already a fan of Boba Fett would be interested in the show by this first episode.
Exactly.
So is that all you have to say about this episode?
I was just disappointed. Like, I have still hope for it because I know what the potential there is.
I feel like I have to have hope.
There's always a new hope. There's always a hope. There's always a chance it can get better. So, but it definitely feels like Kathleen Kennedy has her hands in this and is making it sucky. It just feels like everybody's like,
not fun.
I have things to say in my further notes that are.
So overall, for episode 1, I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 10. I just highly dislike this episode.
I'm right around there. I honestly want to give it less, but being what it was, a 4 makes sense, and I'm gonna just copy him just to say it. That's all right.
So Book of Boba Fett episode 1 gets a 4. All right. So far we've already covered episode 1. Now let's talk about episode 2. We're gonna kind of go through our notes, and then we'll discuss more as we're
gonna interject if we feel need be, but we're just gonna run through what we have to say.
So episode 2 rolls around, and we're trying to figure out who sent these space ninjas, these sand ninjas, to go kill Boba Fett.
Stupid people. And
they interrogate him. They figure out, okay, he says that the mayor sent him. So they go now confront the mayor of Mos Espa. Interrogate. So, and they're gonna go investigate to figure out why did he send them. They're gonna go figure out what's up with these people. So, Boba Fett, instead of being like, yo, why'd you just try to send this guy to kill me? He just walks up. We have an appointment to go see It's like, what? Have Fennec Shand go in the back door, bust it through. You go through the front. You put the gun to the guy's head and say, "What are you doing?" Whatever. He's trying to rule with respect.
Not my Boba Fett.
This is not the way. So he goes talk to the guy. He's like, "Listen, I didn't send him. Someone else sent him. He kills the space ninja. No further word upon it." Boba Fett's like, "All right, okay." Boba Fett just leaves. You're gonna tell me Boba Fett's just gonna leave? He's gonna let this man disrespect him? He's gonna leave? What? Made no sense. So they then go back to see that in that like little cantina. They're talking back with that lady. They kind of try to get some more info gathering about who could have sent this guy to kill Boba Fett. And it's not the mayor, dude. It's now someone mysterious. All of a sudden, the town stops, and the new arrival of the twins come. The twins, who are they? They're the Hutts. Jabba the Hutt's cousins. They come sent through. They're talking Boba Fett. They're talking mad trash. They'll be like, "Boba, listen, yeah, this is our turf. No one's allowed to kill a Hutt unless we say so." And he's like, "Really? I'm the Daimo now. You can't tell me what to do." They're like, "No, technically we own this property." They go all official on, and Boba's like, "All right." And Black Casantis, this super cool Wookiee, shows up. We're like, "Oh, that's pretty sick."
Yeah, it did look really
cool. To say about that?
Okay, yeah. So like the whole part with the beginning, it was boring again, and until that moment where the Hutts came, I'm like, okay, this you piqued my interest. Then all of a sudden you see this Wookiee. I kind of got this leaked to me. I didn't know if it was true or not. I saw it in a Google feed. Freaking frick you, Google. Every time you always spoiling stuff for me. Luke Skywalker's returning Mando, Black Chrysanthemum, Black Santa, whatever you want to call him. He's over here. He shows up, and I'm like, yo, this thing looks badass. I'm like, cool. I pray they utilize this guy. And I guess they did somewhat as we go along, but he's intimidating. It looks cool. I love Wookiees. Chewbacca is one of my favorite characters, so to see explore other kinds, we haven't in a long time.
Oh, wow.
I really like how he's from the he's from the comics.
He's from the expanded universe. He's basically like a brutal gladiator bounty hunter. The more I looked into him, the more I found out, okay, this guy's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So moving further along, all of a sudden Boba Fett's like, you know what I need after this intense conversation? A nice warm bath. So Boba Fett goes to take another bath. He goes to relax, and we get more backstory on our favorite returning characters, the Tuskens.
Alright, so I have a couple notes I'm just going to randomly blurt out. One, first things first, I just think there's too many Twi'leeks in this show. Between my apologies guy, the Cantina lady, and there's like a couple other people, I'm getting tired of the Twi'leeks. Black Chrysanthemum's pretty cool. He piques my interest, I already said that. But it still feels dull. Like, the episode after that part, everything feels dull and it's just dragging. And I'm like, come on, let's get to it. He gets, the Sand People, some parts of them are cool when he's, like, training with them. But a lot of it's
these are in the flashbacks.
It's very cringy. And there's some cringy scenes that we'll get into. The bike people, I'm going to just start off by saying he gets the bikes from the bandits. That's kind of cool. Like the bad guy group that he goes and fights and he punches with in the flashback. That was interesting. It was kind of cool, but it was just like to move it along. He comes back and he comes back with all these speeders to the Tusken Raiders, and I guess that scene was all right.
So as we see Boba Fett training with the Tusken Raiders, more gaffy stick training, we then see that Boba Fett, like he said, the biker scene, and now Boba Fett's like, all right, this train that keeps coming through that's bothering these Tusken people, we're gonna take revenge on them. We're gonna teach you guys how we can heist this train. So in classic Western fashion, they're gonna now pull a heist on this train and reclaim their territory, reclaim their land. So that scene honestly was pretty cool. That was when the episode kind of picked up for me. I enjoyed it. The training montage with the silly jokes they had going in about like them training with the bikes, it was like whatever. I just like it was cool. You know, I didn't mind it. It was expanding this episode and getting more relationship between Boba and these Tusken Raider people. So that was kind of cool.
Like a panther. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And then finally, once the train heist happens, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. You get the cool Tusken Raider girl, by the looks of it looks like a girl, kind of going through, showing who's boss. That was cool. I liked how they had the whole train. It looked cool. It was a unique scene that we haven't really seen. I mean, it kind of reminded me of a scene in Solo when they go to rob that train.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a cool scene. I enjoyed it. So after that, though, I feel like the episode kind of slows down just a little bit, but it starts to introduce some more story about these new characters. I forget their names, but they're like those fish characters. Talking about the Pikes, yes, good. So they were trying to figure out who these guys are and why they're attacking the Tuskens. Basically, they're just trying to... They thought that the Tusken Raiders were like these evil batch of warriors trying to take over the land where they're just trying to pass through with their spice. And Boba Fett's like, no, we ain't having that. This is our territory. This is the Tuskens' land. You pay us, we don't pay you. So, ruling the land and bringing back justice for the Tuskens. Any thoughts on that?
I think the same thing. After the scene with the Hutts and Chrysanthemum, this train scene was the next part of the episode that I kind of enjoyed. Everything else, the training montage, I guess, was okay. I saw actually a funny clip of someone putting like retro 80s music behind it, and it kind of fits because it's just like can't be like that.
That's funny. So, we move further along. The Tuskens celebrate. They're like, "Wow, great job, Boba Fett. You're such a good guy. I'm gonna give you a lizard." He's like, "Wow, look at that. It's pretty great. What am I gonna do with that?" He's like, "What am I gonna do with that?" And all of a sudden, boom! It jumps up his nose, and he's like, "Oh, this is gonna guide you." And so it guides Boba Fett to this mysterious magical tree. And what I got written here...
Magical tree.
And the sand people reward Boba with the sand lizard, who guides Boba Fett to his very own beat-em-up stick. And here we get our first look at a flashback of Kamino.
Yep.
So we finally get to see this pretty cool take on a deep-faked young Boba Fett from Episode 2. That was cool to see. I like going back to Kamino. I hope we visit it more. And as the scene moves along, Boba Fett finally stumbles back. He has his stick. He's ready to make his very own Gathy stick and his own weapon.
Yeah.
He gets garbed with his own clothing. How we see him in the first episode of Mando that he gets introduced in. We see him in that Tusken Raider garb and with his Gathy stick.
That was cool.
So that explains that. And the episode ends in a happy, cheerful tribal dance with the Tusken Raiders. What a fun time.
That was just dumb.
It was kind of cringy, but it was cool. I liked it. It kind of showed more of like the tribal aspects of the Tuskens, which I enjoy. My least favorite part of the Tusken Raiders is hearing their freaking voices, but you know, what you have to deal with, and I actually do enjoy not every single character being a human in Star Wars. I like experiencing new creatures. I feel like recently in recent Star Wars, there's been way too many just human characters, so I liked actually having a tribe of Tuskens. Cool idea. I liked it. So overall, this episode was an improvement. I enjoyed it more, and I liked it. Before I give my rating, what do you think?
I did also think that it was an improvement, because I just thought the episode 1 was just trash. It gave you more of the connection with the Tuskens. I liked the different combat scenes that they had. It was better than the first episode. He actually did stuff. It introduced the cool new characters that we see expanded upon in episode 3. Mm-hmm. I still had a lot of faults with it, which I already talked about, and I'm just going to read a couple quick things that I had on my notes. Okay, some things that I first want to mention. The fish face bad guys, the Pikes, they just seem like a rejected episode 1 Phantom Menace Viceroy design. Like it just doesn't. I'm not the biggest fan of their design, but that's just one little thing. Boba Fett's dialogue and the way that he talks and says things, it bothers me. Like the things that he says, I don't like certain lines. We'll probably put up a couple. It just irritates me, the tone of his voice and the way that he says things.
I like his voice, but the lines I get from him are pretty cringe.
Yes, I like his voice too. Like the things that he says in Mando, cool. The things that he said in other instances as Boba Fett, cool. But some of them are just like so weird, and I just don't like it. It just bothers me. Basically, I get the cultural part with the dance with the Tusken Raiders. I understand that, but it just felt like a weird, cheesy musical dance, and I just didn't really like it. And I just don't like. There's some things that I can rant about. I'll save it for the end. But I did agree this episode was good, so we're gonna move on.
All right, so I'm gonna give this episode was an improvement. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Definitely an improvement over the last, but still not exactly what I was hoping for in a Book of Boba Fett show.
I'd settle for. It's lucky if it gets a 6 out of 10. That's pretty good.
All right, cool.
All right, definitely a notch better.
Hopefully now, since we've wrapped up this Tusken Raider plot, we can move on and continue forth in telling the story of Boba Fett. So we'll move on to episode 3. So opening in episode 3, we see Boba Fett talking to the people of Mos Espa, and he starts talking to this troubled moisture farmer who has this gang kind of messing up his stuff. They stole some of his supplies, and he's like, you know, Boba Fett, you're supposed to be kind of ruling this place. Nobody fears you. Nobody respects you. Come gain some respect. Come control your land. Put people in check. Come help me out. So Boba Fett's like, you know what? All right, we'll go figure out what this is. Let's go help this guy. And this is where this episode takes, in my opinion, its most drastic turn. So I don't like how Boba Fett's being portrayed so far. I don't like how they're portraying Boba Fett's character. He feels way too cordial. He feels way too respectful. I get he's trying to rule with respect. He's not fearful enough. Boba Fett is such a cool, intimidating guy. I just don't like how Boba Fett's being portrayed overall. He seems like a nice guy. I don't like Boba Fett being a nice guy. I want him to be more like just brooding and like badass.
He can rule with respect and still be a badass.
Yeah.
Instead, he's just being a passive aggressive, like a passive aggressive guidance counselor. Like he's just not.
Yeah, have people respect you, my guy. Put some respect on your name. So even I was looking more into what people were saying. I found this one interview of Tamara Morrison even saying how he believes Boba Fett is even talking too much himself. So even the actor who plays Boba Fett is thinking that they're how they're portraying Boba Fett isn't how they should be. He's talking too much, and it's taking away from the mysterious, really cool aspect of Boba. He's acting too bumbly. He's acting like just a foolish old man, in my opinion. He's not acting like a cool badass.
And I'll interject here and tell you, he's taking off his mask too much when he's talking to people. From certain civilians to the stupid biker gang that he's about to encounter. Everybody, he takes off his mask. Boba freaking Fett, leave the mask on, bro. Leave the helmet on. Only take it off at certain points. I know you're Tamara Morrison. I know you want to get that. You're acting in your face out there.
Well, who even knows at this point if he really does?
We already see you enough in the back to taking a bubble bath every 5 seconds in the Tusken Raiders. We don't need to see you in present day without your mask. Like, leave it on.
Yeah,
it's more intimidating.
All right. So now we lead into, like I was saying, the most drastic part. Boba Fett meets his brand new cyberpunk gang.
Yay.
So these very stupid character designs, like these guys, they look like they're more straight out of Coruscant instead of Tatooine. They have these very beautiful Vespas. They're nice little razor scooters that they're riding around. This bright cherry pink, bright sun yellow, lime green. It's like, what is this, Disney Channel? I hate these characters' design. I hate their attitude. Everything, like, I feel like for Tatooine, they should look more like they're out of, like, Mad Max. Like, he's like, a really cool rustic.
And they're poor, they need work, but they have these beautiful looking Vespas.
They're in the workers division, like, oh, we have no work, we gotta steal. I hate everything about these characters. The main two, God, I can't stand them. They have these, like, super cool cybernetics. They're the most lame things. Like, this one girl got a little arm. This one guy got this, like, Spy Kid.
Taking and mutilating their bodies to put cyber...
They just look like Spy Kids. They look like Spy Kids characters. Like, I know Robert Rodriguez directed this stuff, but...
It totally feels like it.
Leave your Spy Kid stuff out of this. This is Star Wars, not Spy Kids, okay? Thank you, Robert Rodriguez. So, after Boba Fett talks to these kids, again, he takes off his helmet. He's like, you know what? After they get done disrespecting Boba Fett, he goes, you know what? You got guts. I'ma hire you.
You want a job?
What? Boba Fett should be whooping these kids into shape. He should be like, listen, kids, you should respect me. Like, you should be, like, getting their feet with the grapple hook, flying up in the sky with a jetpack, flinging them around, throwing them into a wall, being like, respect me. I'm Boba Fett. And instead he's like, let's go out to brunch. What?
Alright. Gonna just list off some of my issues. Again, we start off with it slow. Taking the throne, talking to the stupid citizen people. The stupid biker gang feels like a rejected, edgy Power Rangers, DC, Titans, superhero CW show like ripoff gang. They just don't feel like Star Wars. They don't show any skill, and he's just like, you're hired. And it's just so odd and off-putting. But I let it go. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes from here. And I just can't stand him taking off the helmet. Again, saying that for the third time, sorry. I like Tamara Morrison. I love your face, but dude, keep the helmet on. It's uncalled for. The more fish people and sand people talk, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a big turning point in the episode that, I don't know if you want to say anything beforehand, but it's something that happens with the tribe that I didn't think I'd feel once I felt it.
Yeah. So once again, Boba Fett, he's like, you know what, after this, you know what this calls for? A nice warm bubble bath. So
he's healing, bro. He needs that Epsom salt bath. He gets to sit there in the back of the tank.
Listen, I respect him. Get a little spot time, Boba. You deserve it.
Heal up, bro.
I guess.
Heal up.
You've literally done
so hard.
You've literally done nothing but go take a bath. Go for it. So, after hiring these little kids in their little bike gang, he goes to take his bath. We resume back to the flashbacks. Like, oh God, these sand people, their voices, they tick me off. So, Boba Fett leaves the sand people. He goes to make a trade deal with what were their names again? The Pikes?
The Pikes.
He goes to make a deal with the Pikes. He's like, listen, the Pikes are like, we don't need you guys. We got another crew. He's like, wait a minute. That crew don't rule this area. We do. So Boba Fett goes back to his home.
We don't want to call division.
He goes back to his home disappointed, feeling like, we missed out on the deal. Like a Shark Tank pitch, he got rejected. And now he goes back, and this scene actually made me feel something, surprisingly.
Right?
The Tuskens are now dead.
I had no care about these. Like, I thought it was kind of cool, because I do like the Tusken Raiders. I don't like the specific group of Tusken Raiders, but I like them as a character.
Because that one character looked pretty cool. That one girl character.
You guys know who we're talking about.
The Kylo Ren Tusken.
Yeah. But I'm like, yo, they actually went there and they killed off the whole tribe. I'm like, that's pretty sad, because he's been training with them, and they helped them, and they're kind of like they were dancing together on the fire, and now they're dead.
Moment. They bonded.
It's kind of sad. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Taught him how to ride. All right. So after this very somber, sad moment, he burns all their stuff. Then, boom, the episode like picks up again. We're like, oh, whoa. Black Chrysanthemum is now breaking into the castle. He picks up Boba Fett. He grabs him. He tosses him. He's throwing him all around. I'm like, okay, this actually pretty sick.
I was like, dang, we've never really seen a lot of things with a Wookiee before like this. So I was like, I really like that. I always want to see Chewbacca do more things in Solo, where he was like throwing the stormtroopers and other things like that. But this was really awesome. I really liked it.
At first, thought it was cool. Then it slowly kind of starts turning into like, okay, this fight really isn't going anywhere. After Black Chrysanthemum pulls what I call the Terminator 3, where instead of this brutal bounty hunter, in this case, taking out its target, he decides, you know what, I'm a ragdoll him. He just kind of throws him around everywhere, which then leads to him grabbing Boba Fett finally and just cracking him. Squeezing living crap out of him, cracking his neck. I'm like, you hear the crack. You're like, dude, Boba Fett's gonna be out. You're gonna need a bubble bath after that one. And so Boba Fett, you're thinking he's like, okay, he's gonna need to go back in his little jacuzzi. And the fight breaks out. All of a sudden, the cyberpunk Power Rangers, they come through. Go, go, Power Rangers. They throw their little staffs. And the little girl brings out a knife. What? What? Dude, this Wookiee, Black Chrysanthemum, supposed to be this, like, really badass Wookiee bounty hunter. This thing would have grabbed the Power Rangers by their arms. They would have ripped them out of the They would have beat them with their little prosthetics and their little knives.
Shot them in the face. Could have ripped their ears off like Mike Tyson.
The fact that this guy gets like stabbed and bleed around, he's like, you know, I'm gonna run away. He like jumps after the Gamorrean guards and throws him down the stairs.
He, like Gronkowski like tackles him down, pummels them.
Boba Fett's rolling on the floor like, my leg! He's like, come on, bathrobe real quick. But like the way that they kind of did it was cool, but again, it just felt like lame. It's like this could have been so badass, but it just feels just like weakened by the moment, and these cyberpunk kids helped ruin it even more, in my opinion.
Well, if they weren't there, I guess Boba would be like dead though.
Makes no sense.
They came in last
I just want to know, how did this big Wookiee sneak into this guy? Did he climb? Did he scale the castle?
Where are these guards? Where are these people that are guarding?
Useless.
Did he like come through the roof? Did he dig a tunnel? Okay, yeah. So I don't like how Boba didn't get hurt more with his cracked back, but whatever. Some people say because something on Camino and maybe like I don't know if this is true or not, but like genetic altering, Boba's body can withstand things or whatever. Maybe he cracked it, like in Spider-Man, he's like, my back, and he needed a back crack and it needed to feel better. Maybe it's like...
Maybe made him feel better, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's like, oh, that did the trick.
Maybe he needed that.
I don't know, but it seemed more like he broke something like Bane, like, oh...
But, you know, maybe this will actually help prevent the back attack even more. Maybe, like, that's what he needed, and this will help him.
Nah. Okay, so the lame Power Ranger bike crew comes in, fights them with the two Gamorrean guards that got pummeled, and... Oh, I like how they trapped them, and I liked how they trapped Black Chrysanthemum. That was cool. I like the knife thrown out of the gun from Fennec Shan. That was cool.
One thing I need to add to that. When they throw him into the cave, who comes strolling through? Boba Fett, like he's straight out of an Old Spice commercial with his bathrobe on. How's it going over here? What do we got going on? Shouldn't he be in like full armor, ready to take this thing out with his gun out and like ready to like throw down and throw hands? No, instead he's in his bathrobe, coming out of his sauna, walking in. Is everything alright over here? You just got your butt whooped, got your castle invaded by a Wookiee. Wouldn't you like suit up at least and like maybe try to take him out?
I get that he didn't suit up, but it's just like
Terry Crews is gonna walk out and go, "Power, Old Spice." Like, what the...
like there has to be some type of security system. They need like something.
At least calling your armor.
I like this. I like him roaring down in the thing, and I like how it's empty and they scare him for a minute. I feel like they should have had a monster in there before they end up getting what we know to talk about in a second.
They should have got Machamp from the sand.
They should have had something in there to terrorize the Wookiee, but I don't know. All right, moving on.
All right. So after this Power Rangers help Boba Fett take out Black Santa, they stroll down. They figure Boba Fett says what's up in his bathrobe, and we later on move further into the Hutts. The Hutts.
So the Hutts show up after this whole thing.
The Hutts show up. They're like, you know what? My apologies. they apologize for sending Black
We're
Panther.
so sorry for offending you, Boba Fett. We realize we made a stupid decision.
Boba Fett should have
stupid writing.
Yeah, it just none of it makes sense. The way Boba Fett reacts to the situation and the way the Hutts present themselves make no sense. But Boba Fett is like, you know what? We understand. Apology accepted.
Apologies accepted. We're all friends here.
You know what?
Cordial.
In their trade deal, they give him they give Boba Fett his very own Rancor.
That was a sweet trade.
That was pretty cool.
That was a good trade.
Who brings him? Who brings him though?
Danny freaking Trejo, my guy.
Freaking Machete.
Breacher, freaking Machete, freaking Uncle from Spy Kids. It makes sense why he's there. It's
Spy Kids.
Crackhead Robert Rodriguez.
He's
there. He's in every one of his movies. It's Machete. He's here. I thought that was a cool touch. I think the Rancor looked cool. I think that's, side note, probably going to make more sales than the Random Black Series HasLab thing that they were going to do. I think this is now probably going to make sales for Rancor stuff go up. I like the fact that he had the blindfolds on. Then when he first saw Boba, it's kind of like they have a connection. And he talked about, I want to learn to ride it. I'm excited to see that in future episodes and where that goes.
The Hutts tell him, you know what? We don't want any part of this whole thing. Something's going on, and you need to figure out what it is. I think it's kind of more deception that the Hutts are gonna they're gonna back out. They're gonna let them fight. Then they're gonna come in afterwards and kind of take out whoever is left over, and then take over Mos Espa. I think they got their plan.
Maybe
because why would they fight in the first place if they had no interest in Tatooine? I think they're kind of playing the long game. That's where it's gonna lead to, but who really knows? But anyway, they figure out. Boba Fett realizes, alright, I'm going to go confront the mayor again and figure out what's going on in this town. Finally take control of my territory and become the ruler.
One quick side note. They let Black Sanson run free because they're like, you can also keep him and do what you want. I'm like, why wouldn't you convince him to join your gang? You hide the stupid biker gangs. Why wouldn't you? He's like, hey, no hard feelings, my friend. I know you just tried breaking my back, but you can go run free, be free now. So he starts running away. I'm like, okay.
I love the way he runs away. I thought it was so funny to see the Wookiee run away. But that was funny.
I'm like, I hope he comes back. I hope something happens.
He was too cool to just leave now. He needs to come back. Maybe crack his back again.
So he goes to go see the dumb mayor guy, and this is where the episode just goes to complete trash. The last couple minutes that we were talking about has to be probably one of the most entertaining parts of the show so far with the Wookiee and the Rancor. Other than that, in the 3 episodes, there's not one scene that makes me go, wow, that's my Boba Fett. Right now, he feels like Boba Fett. It feels like not my Boba Fett. It feels
like Beta Fett.
It just doesn't feel normal. And I get the character change where they want to make him different, but come on, bro. Out of all 3 episodes, there's not one cool badass scene where he's in his armor.
Out of any character
come on.
Out of any character to make, why choose Boba Fett? We want epic Boba Fett stuff. Pick a new character. Bring Finn back. Bring Kylo Ren back. Ruin them. You've already ruined the sequels, in my opinion. Go ahead. Make yourself a brand new series. Don't ruin Boba Fett, a character that we love. We want to see you do some badass stuff.
There's still hope. There's 4 episodes left.
I really don't know where they're going to go from here, because we'll continue about that afterwards. But let's continue on to the epic chase scene.
This was the dumbest part of this whole ordeal.
This chase scene is literally going out like 2 miles. I feel like I could have jogged faster than this chase scene. I could have catch up to the speed of jogging. So after they're going to confront the mayor.
The apologies guy.
And instead of figuring out, okay, let's do this smart, they just kind of approach the front door. They get locked. Boba Fett's going to get locked out of a room. What the hell? Yeah, okay. So he gets locked out. My apologies guy runs away. It leads into this epic chase scene with the Mos Espa Vespas. They are go Power Ranger, go Gadget. They get on their little bikes and they chase after the guy, which leads into the most boring chase scene I have seen in a long time. Wow. This was so... oh god.
I think Fast 9 had a better chase scene than this movie, and that's saying something.
Yeah, Dom Toretto should have showed up.
It was so dumb. My notes do it justice where I rip it to shreds, so I'm gonna just take a couple things here. But it was just dumb. I can't believe the amount of screen time that this dumb character gets. My apologies guy. I can't stand him.
I can't believe how the scene is so slow. Again, I feel like they could have jogged faster than these guys. You have Boba freaking Fett. He should have got his jetpack, flew over, shot the guy out, or shot the engine, shoot his leg out. He got his jetpack. He could have flown into the front seat, held the gun up to the dude's head, pull over. Some cool badass stuff. Nope. Instead, they have this really slow chase scene where they run through Mos Espa on their little speeder bikes, going really slow.
It was just goofy and dumb.
It was very slow.
The Espa Vespas, they're just they're rolling on the scooters. They're barely, they're bumping into them. They're one of them falls over, it's
just so cringe.
going through town,
cringe.
they got all their colorful bikes. They're going Mach Mach 2 miles an hour. Like, what are they going to turn into, a Megazord? The Boba Fett gets his jetpack at the last minute. At the last minute, he jetpacks out. You don't even get a cool shot of him flying. It just felt so slow. I want George Lucas to come in and slap the directors. I don't care if it's Jon Favreau. I mean, I love Jon Favreau and everything he's doing, but, like, he needs to come in and be like, get into shit. What are you guys doing?
I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought you brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him, like, burned and...
I don't even know who that guy is.
Exactly like that. Exactly what we just showed you. There's even a scene when they're going around in this area. I forget what part it is in the episode, but you can see the inside of a building. Like, the editing is so off that you could see it's like
you can see the facade set.
Yeah, of the set on the inside. There's like a wooden plank. I like the Easter eggs, like the lady with the stormtroopers. This is going back further in the episode, but the stormtrooper heads on the spikes.
Yep.
You see the lady from Mando. So there's cool things like that. But like this whole scene is just so blah. I don't know how to say it.
Okay, just to wrap up this episode, I just want to give you guys my thoughts on how I'm feeling currently right now. We got 4 more episodes left, and I don't know where to go from here, because you know that they lead it up. Basically, the episode ends where they catch the guy, they figure out with the Pikes. Basically, they're preparing for war. Boba Fett, he's got Fennec Shan, and he's got the Power Rangers. Alright, he got a Rancor too.
They're not even cool enough to be the Power Rangers.
Exactly.
They're the rejected CW cast show from Cyborg.
Yeah,
freaking Cyberpunk. It's the garbage Cyberpunk. And
they're the new
NPCs.
Yeah. Gosh. So I just feel like I don't know where the series is gonna go. Obviously, you gotta continue. They're not just gonna take out these biker people. They gotta move forward. They're gonna be the ones taking out these Pikes. How boring. These guys, they have these prosthetics. They're the most boring prosthetics. They got one dude, he's got like a little magical like kicking foot, like a jackrabbit. One guy's got this tiny blowtorch. He's got a little Bic lighter as a blowtorch on his arm. They're the most boring character designs. Not one of them is a unique creature. They're all just these basic looking humans with these stupid things. So boring. And you know that they're gonna have to continue and follow along. They're in Boba Fett's army. Unless they magically get killed off, please, Lord, may they all get killed. And they get new people. Bring back Black Casantas to help Boba Fett.
Or the Tuskens.
The Tuskens. Somebody to help my man. This is like really dwindling my excitement for what the future of this few more episodes has to offer. I feel like we're really in a lull period of the Book of Boba Fett. And this is the point where, in all honesty, I think I'd probably close the book and resell it. Probably wouldn't have the strength to continue on this book. And I maybe would trade it in.
We're pushing through it.
It just feels very
He's my favorite character, and I want them. I'm just hoping for a better outcome. Okay. Here's some things. I want new entertaining scenes with the flashbacks, not just the same young Boba again looking out into the window on the water at the ship going away. The ending was just lame. The dumb bikes and the colorful bikes. I don't like this storyline. They say there's gonna be war and we'll be ready, but like, bro, he can't even fight. He can't even escape a chase. He can't fight that great. He escapes the chase so slow. He needs to take a recovery bath every other scene. Like, come on already. Overall, it's just kind of disappointing so far. I'm praying it gets better. I feel like Robert Rodriguez was just sitting there on the set, strumming his guitar with the Sand People the whole time. Whatever anybody was saying, he's just like, yeah, that's good, we'll do that. Like, okaying anything, not caring or paying attention. He's just vibing to the freaking Tusken tribe dance the whole time, probably. Either that, or these people were on something, kind of like how Boba was all drugged with the magic tree. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're making these decisions. I just want to see Boba Fett in his full glory. It's not hard. It's very easily attainable. You already shown us that you could do it. I'm just criticizing and being heavily critical on the show because I was expecting so much more out of it. And you're only giving me 7 episodes, and the 3 it's honestly a chore. It feels like a chore to watch. I'm not like nowhere near as excited how I am to watch Mando when it first appeared. Even the first episode of Mando, it captivated you. It's taken 3 episodes for me to be like,
do I even like this show?
I don't even know where it's going.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's episode 4. We're gonna watch it. If it's really good, we'll talk about it immediately. If not, we're going to save it again for a next...
Probably stay tuned for the weekend.
Yeah,
probably have the
next
episode out, because by the time you see this, you probably have seen the episode. So
thank you for watching this whole thing. If you have, I hope maybe you could listen to it as a podcast. We'll probably put that in the beginning. Maybe just, you don't have to watch us the whole time, but I mean, there's some funny things we
appreciate it if you do.
We appreciate you watching the whole way through.
If you've watched the whole way through, leave a comment down below and say one thing.
Say Black Santa.
Say Black Santa. No one will know what that means but you guys. We love you guys. Thank you. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for next week's video. Probably the weekend we'll be reviewing episode 4. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully you'll be anticipating our review. Telling you guys, man, that episode was great. But as of right now, it just feels kind of sad. And I'm going to give this episode my rating of a 4.5 out of 10. I think there was elements that made me enjoy it more than the first episode. But boy, was it not as good as the pretty decent second episode. So far, it is a very mixed bag. I don't know how to feel. I remember a quote from a little while back. Robert Rodriguez said something along the lines of, every episode is going to be impactful. It's going to be epic. Man, has that not been true. I don't know what Spy Kids' definition of epic is, but this is not it. So, give your thoughts.
I'm waiting for the guy to show up. You know, the guy from, like, Spy Kids. Like, I'm waiting for him to come up and be like, yo, I'm Boba Fett. I'm tired of this weak Cobb Vanth, watered down Boba Fett. I want my Boba. This is not my Boba.
This is not the way.
This is not the way. I want this to be the way, but it's not. This episode for me is probably around a 5.5. I probably give it a 5.5 because the Wookiee fight I did like, but the more I think about it, it's kind of like almost similar to Kylo Ren and the freaking Red Guards in the freaking Last Jedi. Like,
where it's cool in concept and not cool in execution.
Exactly. But I don't know what one I like better. There was elements that I liked the most out of this one, but as a whole, this episode just 5.5 maybe. We'll see where it goes. I'm praying that I get higher quality episodes. I want 7s, 8s, 9s.
I want to love it, and if you guys love it, all power to you. I'm happy
sorry.
for you.
I'm sorry that I'm overly critical.
I'm not sorry. It's my opinion, but I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy you enjoy it. So let us know what you guys think in the comments.
I'm sorry for the fans. That's what I'm sorry for.
Yes, very.
We had to suffer through 3 episodes.
Anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. Check us out. Check all of our upcoming videos. If you haven't yet, check out our channel update video where we give you guys some upcoming stuff, all of our thoughts, what we want to pursue with this channel. I mean, if this isn't enough to convince you guys to subscribe, we're getting guests.
Please subscribe.
We got Boba Fett on the show.
I gotta go take a bath. I'll be back, guys.
Alright. See you guys. He's going to go take a bath, so we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Subscribe.